A couple of years ago, I dug deep to see which NFL team plays in the harshest conditions throughout the NFL season. Surprise, it's us here in Buffalo. But our worst conditions, of course, come late in the season in the heart of summer. Week 1's forecast looks a little bit different, right? And that got me thinking, which NFL team sees the biggest change in the weather from the beginning of the season to the end? Let's look into it in this week's Heather's Weather Wise. Okay, we've got 32 teams to go through. We don't have enough time for that, so we're going to take a couple of shortcuts. First, of course, we're going to remove the cities that play in a dome. They certainly don't have to rough it in the elements when they're on their home turf. Next, we can use a little meteorological insight and remove coastal cities because they tend to have far fewer extremes from year to year. That's because the surrounding water insulates the air a little bit and keeps it from getting extremely hot or extremely cold. That's especially true for cities in the south. For example, Miami's average high temperature in September is 89 degrees, but in January, it's still in the mid-70s. Here in Buffalo, those numbers swing from the mid-70s in week 1 to the low 30s by week 17. And of course, those are averages. Records range from the 90s to the single digits here, but let's just stick with averages for now. I did the math for each of the remaining NFL cities. This is the difference between the average high in September and the average high in January. Now let's whittle this down to the top 5. There's Buffalo sitting at 42 degrees, but Green Bay takes the top spot. By the way, the Packers' hometown took the top spot in temperature when I looked at the toughest overall football weather a couple of years ago. But just for fun, let's look at the average rain and snow during football season for these 5 cities. No surprise who's number 1 there, right? Here, Green Bay is a very distant second. So why does Green Bay, of all places, experience such big temperature extremes throughout the season? Well, it's all about location. Green Bay is relatively landlocked. Sure, it's sitting close to Lake Michigan, but I'm talking oceans here when you're looking at climate influencers. Green Bay is also centrally located, so you can get these sweeping Arctic cold fronts and big heat waves coming up from the south. Kansas City and Denver are in a similar situation. So if you go by averages, Green Bay has the greatest potential for big extremes during football season, but Buffalo takes the crown with the potential for extreme rain or snow events. You know why that is, of course. And if you're curious, the hottest NFL game on record, Packers-Cardinals at Old Sun Devil Stadium, fourth quarter temperature of 106 degrees. The coldest, this time in Green Bay, of course, back in 1967, the Ice Bowl. It was -13 with a wind chill of -48. That's it for this Heather's Weather Wise. Remember, you can go back and watch old episodes anytime on the WGRZ YouTube channel. I'll see you soon, but until then, remember, it's good to be a geek.